Welcome to Translogic. I'm Jonathon Buckley. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm sneaking around in a cornfield in the middle of central Illinois. Well, we've been given a hot tip and we're looking for the headquarters of the Illuminati. I'm here with Kevin Smith. He's the owner and team leader of Illuminati Motor Works. Mate, how did this all begin? What was the idea behind the 7?
In 2007, the X-Prize Foundation waved a prize flag out there of $10 million for the first team that could build a full-size street-legal vehicle that got at least 100 miles per gallon and sat 4 full-size adults and did some other things like that. We placed second overall in a winner-takes-all competition. We didn't stop working on it just because the competition was over. We had an opportunity to have it efficiency tested at Chrysler and run the official EPA 74 test cycle to find out what the miles per gallon equivalent is for an electric or a hybrid car.
What were the results?
Well, the Volt gets 98. The Leaf scored 99. We scored 207.5 miles per gallon equivalent.
That is huge. Because there are other cars out there. I mean, you've got the VW XL1.
It's a 2-seat vehicle.
Got you. So for a 4-seater.
For a full-size street legal car, we are the most efficient car in the world.
Illuminati Motor Works. How did you come up with this name, and have you had any phone threats?
We haven't had any phone threats. When we started this, there's 7 of us now. We all work for the state of Illinois. And we just entered a competition to build the 100-mile-per-gallon car. And the Illuminati, who work for the government, supposedly hid the 100-mile-per-gallon carburetor. Right. So we thought it would be kind of funny and educational.
Yep. Where did the name 7 come from?
When we were looking at different names to use for the car, we were trying to avoid other names that were already being used.
Yeah.
And then we thought, well, you know, why don't we look at some Masonic symbology and see what else they've used, since we're just using Illuminati anyway. And 7 kept coming up in a lot of their symbology. Yeah. Then we started looking at other car names out there, and there were some old Morgan-like looking cars that used the name 7 back in the 30s, which was kind of stylistically what we were looking for.
Tell me a little bit about the looks of the car, because the first thing you notice when you walk in the door is that this car is like this neo-noir, almost Sin City style looking car. I mean, it looks incredible. What was the thought process behind that?
We went for drivetrain and aerodynamics. The drivetrain is an AC electric motor, liquid cooled. It's the most efficient one we could find. Once we had the drivetrain settled, it was then the body work. How do you make the body as aerodynamic as possible so it meets all the requirements of the competition? And so it looks cool. We wanted to get some retro styling into it. The most aerodynamic shape is a teardrop. It's rounded on one end and it has a tapering tail as the water droplet falls. So we looked at the 1930s and 40s vehicles and then why those cars are being made rounded. Well, one, it was a style. Mostly they did it because now it's more aerodynamic.
What was the thought process behind the gull-wing doors? Was that from the get-go, just looks awesome, we have to have it?
All of us always loved gull-wing doors. So from the get-go, we wanted them, and we kept waffling back and forth. Well, it's really hard to make them, and how do you make the door seals? Well, in the end, it was just easier to get in and out of the car.
Well, let's talk about you and the team, for instance. A car like the 7, there's no manual for that. There's nothing that says, oh, this is where you start and this is where you get to. I mean, you guys, it's been a constant learning curve for you, hasn't it?
I think anyone can do this if they're willing to spend the time.
And it's taken a lot of man-hours.
And it's taken a lot of man-hours. We're up to about 20,000 man-hours to build this car. If you and your buddies want to learn how to build a car, we can start now and you'll be home in I don't know, when your kids are in 1st grade, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a little quicker than I thought it was. You know, it's surprisingly no slouch. Looking at this thing, it looks massive. It looks like it's very, very heavy.
It's fairly quick. You know, we do the 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. You know, at 130 mile an hour top speed.
And the 7 handles well too, because you've got all-wheel steering, don't you?
Yes, 4-wheel steering. We borrowed that from a Honda Prelude.
Wow. With the 4-wheel steering, I'm just noticing, does the back kind of drift a little bit? Is that the...
When you initially turn the steering wheel, so it works at high and low speeds, the rear wheels turn the same direction as the front.
It feels like the back end's almost doing a miniature drift. Do you know what I mean? It's actually quite a cozy feeling. It's just like swinging your hips.
So we had to have a steering radius of a small car, so we adapted the Honda Prelude to it.
Speaking of that, I mean, this isn't a all original car, but it's also a little bit of a mutt, isn't it? Because you've taken bits and pieces from existing cars and sort of mashed them all together, haven't you?
The suspension on it is from a Dodge Neon. That's the biggest component we took from anything. The brakes off of it are from the master cylinders from a 69 Volkswagen. The reservoir from it's for a Peugeot. The rear brakes are 99 Taurus SHO. The front headlights are from 39 Ford.
Where do you see it going? I mean, what's the plan for the 7? I mean, you've got this car now. Obviously, there's still work that you're planning on doing to it from the discussions that we've had.
The X-Prize is over. We've been working on the car like we talked about, and we've been going to other competitions. But we've also been going to schools and fairs, and we show it to people. Now we're in it for education. Yeah, we're still making it better. Where it's at now, we're still tested at 207 miles per gallon. We can still go 130 miles an hour. We can go 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. We seat 4 full-size adults. We have a 200-mile range on a charge, and it's a car. You just get in and drive it. There's nothing really special about it other than its shape. It has an efficient drivetrain.
Well, that was a truly unique experience in a wholly original car. Well, maybe not wholly original when you take into account some of its parts, but it's far more original than most of the cars you're going to see on the road. What excites us the most, though, is this is a family and a team with a can-do attitude who ended up with a kick-ass car to show for it. And if this got built in the middle of a barn in a cornfield in Illinois, that just makes us wonder what's going on in barns all across the country. For Translogic, I'm Jonathon Buckley. We'll catch you next time.